All right, brother. We are back with David Cobbs. How you doing?
Oh, wonderful. Took a piss.
Why I need to ask that question. I asked it last time. All right. So, geez, what we were last talking about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, his video was his special. I liked it. It was very. This is my thoughts on it. I'm not going to make some big, huge public statement and give you some sound bite. This is just how I view it. This is how a lot of people view it. But this is why I'm not the guy out there doing it. I've been arguing about it, talking about it for years. What more can I tell you? You know, it was heartfelt. It was.
Yeah, I mean, he really has been sort of someone who's always at least sort of shined a light on racial issues, dating back to his show and everything.
And he already did it with comedy, whereas there really wasn't any comedy.
No.
He had a couple of very dark humor.
Punchlines.
Kind of, little digs here and there, but it wasn't, it was more of a,
yeah. But
that was nice.
He's just a funny guy. Here's the thing is I think if you listen to Dave Chappelle talk about anything for 20 minutes, he's going to make you laugh about anything, that's just the way he is. Even putting that out and basically, having this social commentary of here's why what I say doesn't matter. He still makes you laugh even when he's not trying. I love that one spot where he's like, I do got a couple fucking jokes I could tell.
Yep.
And he never does.
No. The fact that, and it's horrible, like with all the fuckery that's going on, whether it's with COVID or the huge push we have now with Black Lives Matter, just the racial inequalities, the social justice, just across the board, and how much our government truly doesn't give two shits about the people. That you could still, I believe that you have to try to find humor in it in some aspect, because if you don't, then the darkness wins. No matter how horrible the situation is, I think you have to be able to laugh at it in some way. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and that's dark humor, But yeah, I mean, like the comedian from The Watchmen, yeah, the whole world burns, and
Yeah, I mean,
that is the joke.
There was one of my favorite ones is like people have been like, you always hear that there's just some things that you can't joke about. Well, no, there's nothing that you can't joke about. I mean,
there's
I'm sorry.
Some things that people don't want to hear jokes about.
Exactly,
that's
but,
what it is. My brother died of cancer when I was 12. I personally don't like cancer jokes. You know what I mean? Like, not that you can't joke about cancer, or you know what I mean?
You might not want to hear it, but you can understand. But you can understand where someone might want to hear.
And I bet you there's like cancer survivors, that testing. Tom Green. Tom Green had testicular cancer.
Lost a nut. Makes
jokes about it. It's funny to him still. He's able to laugh about it, that's fine. But I'm not going to laugh at his cancer survivor jokes. I'm just not. They're not funny. But that's me.
But
you
you're
know,
not
like,
saying that there's
I'm
not a
not gonna
place for 'em for other
I'm not
people.
going to say that Tom Green
Exactly.
can't tell cancer jokes. Yeah. Yeah, there's like one episode of South Park that isn't funny at all to me. There's a little kid dying of cancer. And he keeps asking Stan to like win hockey games for him or something as the coach. Like I can't remember it very well.
I kind of remember that. I do remember
not
seeing that
funny.
episode, but it's been forever since I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't find that episode funny. That's just me, you know. Man, them making fun of Scientology, that's fucking hilarious.
Right?
I bet you that, we know Isaac Hayes didn't like it very much.
I forgot he was a Scientologist.
Yeah, that's why he's no longer on the show.
But you know,
They did
yeah.
that whole thing, like he got pissed that they made fun of Scientology, and they got rid of Chef. They like made him remember there was a whole episode where they made Chef a pedophile, and yeah, man, that was a bridge that he probably shouldn't have burned.
But you know what? Why isn't their belief system why is it any less believable than the other 5,000 recognized religions on Earth? It's just as plausible, I guess.
Well, I mean, other than the fact that L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer who wrote about aliens, and he specifically said that he was going to get into religion because that's where the money's at, and then he created a religion about aliens. I mean, come on. Like, you know the difference between a religion and a cult?
How much money you have to give them?
No. Like, in a cult, the leader's still alive. In a religion, the leader's dead.
True.
L. Ron Hubbard's dead. Hence, it's a religion and not a cult now. Right?
Yeah, good point.
Come on. I mean, if you look into Scientology at all, it doesn't take it takes no time whatsoever to completely disregard it compared to any other established religion. I mean, yeah, like even Mormonism has slightly more credibility. Sorry, Mormons.
I have family that are Mormon, and I'm not talking like just they go to church Mormons. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking like they can go to the innermost sanctuaries in the Mormon temples.
Yeah.
Like they're that pious, which is more part to them. They're wonderful people.
They're wonderful people.
And
Absolutely.
the religion as a whole, aside from
Isn't
the
Christian?
golden tablets that you can only read with the magical whatever.
In my opinion, it's a cult based off Christianity.
It probably is, but one of their tenets is, doing good works and helping thy neighbor.
Yeah.
I can't hold that against them.
For sure. Yep.
They are,
I mean,
as a religion goes, as an organization.
They're not a dangerous cult. At least they got that going for them.
No, they're not.
Again, another one dealing with other worlds, and you become a god on a planet. It is, and very, very strange stuff, man. But I guess I have some strange beliefs too. Like panspermia and etc. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking earlier about, just with everything that's been going on. And we had mentioned, like with this George Floyd and the push for all this social justice, how everything's all great in lip service for like the first 3 months, 4 months, whatever. And then it just kind of goes away. And I'm hoping that this won't go away because for as much as I love my country and I love what my country stands for, our country and as a society had done a piss poor job living up to the belief system that we claim to represent.
Aspire to.
Yeah. And so I truly want to see that change and reach that potential. But I'm fearful, is it just going to be more the same, that we're going to get lip service from our representatives and I don't even like calling them leaders because they're not supposed to lead us. They're supposed to represent us.
I agree. I don't like the term leaders at all.
But
elected officials.
Yeah, are they actually going to follow through, or is it just going to be all this more pandering political bullshit? Like whether it's the orange man standing in front of a church holding a Bible, or it's a bunch of Democratic leadership on Capitol Hill wearing a kente cloth scarf, taking a knee.
And I heard they didn't even actually kneel for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. They kneeled for about a minute.
Well, I don't know. It looked like Nancy Pelosi had a hard time getting up. So,
Well, I mean, at her age, I'm sure a minute is a very long time to be on one knee.
dude, at my age, it's hard getting up.
Dude, I would take a knee at the cafe to like get down to like the level of the silver
bottom, yep.
tables and like right, like on a a prep list or whatever
Yep.
on a, and 2 minutes like down on a knee, like a football player was like, I needed the table to then get up. I needed to.
Yep. You need that oomph.
I need that oomph. Yeah, need something to push off of. So yeah, I mean, yeah, of course she needed some help getting up. God damn. Like, it's ridiculous to not think otherwise. She's an octogenarian, isn't she? She's fucking 80?
83, 86, something like that. I don't know.
I think she's over 70. She's a really good-looking 80.
Well, plastic surgery when you can afford it. But there's another thing that bothers me with all
the preservatives in the ice cream.
That too. All these elected officials, they've been in office for 20, 30, 40 years. And granted, the orange man is an idiot, but everything is and it's every election cycle. Well, if you elect us, we will do this time. Why haven't you done it already?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
the same people that complain about, well, why haven't you done it already, still reelect them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not like a fan of Candace Owens, but I definitely think she has a valid point of the Brexit campaign. Like, black people stop voting for Democrats. They're not helping you out. I don't think voting for Republicans is the answer either.
No.
But no, I think both those parties are not helping out the majority of the people who vote for those parties are not benefiting from the government created by those two parties.
No, the government is only benefiting itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they continue to pass laws that benefit those two parties and make sure that those two parties stay in office.
Limiting ballot access and
I mean, it's on and on and on. Man, I'm so tired of finding hairs on these wind guards. They tickle my nose. Goddamn cats. I tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Like, literally, I mean, they are pulling the strings. They control it, and it's so frustrating to like, as somebody who's like continually voted third party for many years, to continue to hear that argument from people of, lesser of two evils or wasting your vote as a third party. Like, man, the waste is like continuing to vote for this system that you yourself know is corrupt. That's a wasted vote. To me, like, you want to talk about wasted vote. You're voting for somebody. If you're voting for Biden, you're voting for somebody who who literally like co-wrote the bill that increased, incarceration, private prisons, 3 strikes rule. I mean, this was devastating to our society as a whole, in particular minority communities. And he still defends it. Like, to vote for him because Orange Man bad, to me that is just a disconnect. I cannot follow any linear thought, any logic to come to that conclusion.
I loved his most recent idiocy of if you don't support me, you aren't black.
Right? Oh yeah, that was a gret one. Yeah, telling Charlemagne.
So I'm trying to figure out what I am them. I mean, okay, by excluding things here, if I don't vote for Biden, I'm not black. Okay, fine, my pigmentation proves that. However, if I don't vote for Trump, does that mean I'm not white? What does that make me?
It's an exclusionary thought. It's just a non-starter.
Oh, wait, according to them, that makes me invisible and I don't matter.
Right? Yeah. Yep. Ultimately, our votes won't really count. The sad part is our votes literally might not be counted. They might just be thrown in the trash by election judges, and that's the real fucking crime that happens. It's that we get sparing votes for third parties, and they still can't even fucking be honest about how few that how few we're getting, because God forbid it be more than a few percentage, they literally, I mean, I know people that volunteered as election judges, and that's, specifically what they said they saw is fucking people just crumpling up fucking third-party ballots and throwing them away. So the system is literally set up from the bottom up. So, people who have fucking, vested interests in their party continuing to be in power are there as election judges throwing those things away, miscounting the numbers, and all the way to the top of, we're not going to let you into the, into
You
the
can't
debates.
you can't come and play with our ball.
Yep, can't come into debates unless you get 15% in 4 polls, and absolutely ridiculous. Like, yeah. Once Ross Perot, made an impact, they decided, we better work together to keep these outsiders out. And that worked until Trump fucking crashed the system and became the outsider inside the party. And Bernie tried to do it too, but he failed because they have a more rigid system electing their candidate, as the Democratic Party does, than the Republican Party does. It's very, very interesting how it all plays out.
Yeah, and I didn't like Bernie as his policies go per se. I don't necessarily disagree with his ideas and premises on a lot of them. His implementation I didn't like, but even beyond that, after the last election, when it was proven that he literally got fucked over by the Democratic Party, and he comes back, and instead of standing up for himself and growing a set of balls and saying, fuck you, this isn't right, he just jumped right back into party line and threw all of his support behind Hillary. To me, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm sorry, if you can't even stand up for yourself, and if you can't stand up for yourself, why should I or anyone else believe that you would stand up for America?
Yeah, and then he did it again with Biden. I'll support whoever it is. So you're not even, so you're technically an independent, which is, by the way, in my opinion, why he'll never get the nomination.
Speaking of being an independent, why did he get to run on the Democratic Party as a registered independent?
That's exactly it. He's not registered as a Democrat. He's an independent. He was running to be the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, but he wouldn't pay the fee to be a member of the Democratic Party. So they were like, I think they were like, you know what, screw you, you're an outsider. You're politically not really one of us. You're just sort of identifying with us to get more votes. You're not a member of our party. You're never going to get this nomination. And yeah, he ran twice, he said twice and didn't learn that.
But then I'm confused. Why does, even as an independent and not a part of their party, why is he even... Why was he even allowed?
He's a party loyalist because Orange Man bad.
But why was he even allowed to run on their ticket?
I don't know.
As an independent, he shouldn't have even been allowed.
That's got to be part of their bylaws or something. I don't know. See, I know that you can't do that as a libertarian. If you want to be a libertarian, if you want to run to be the to be the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party,
you have to be part of their party.
The only requirement you have is that you be a member of the Libertarian Party. That's it. That's the only thing you need to do, and then you can campaign to be a presidential candidate. So I think it's $25 or so to become a member of the Libertarian Party, and you can run for president. And that's it. So, I don't understand the rules. Each political party gets to make their own little rules about such things, obviously, and the way they choose. Even the way libertarians pick their candidate, there's like 400 or so delegates that vote at the national convention. This year they just did I think they did
an online vote.
One. Yep. But yeah, that's it, So it's the delegates that get to decide, members of the party or, people that are just interested in liberty and not actually a member of the party like myself. We actually have no say.
No. Yeah, because I won't be a card-carrying member of any political group.
Yeah, I'm definitely, you introduced me virtually to Matt. And yeah, I need to get a hold of him. We should get him up here. And I'm thinking of starting a branch of the Libertarian Party here in Brainerd. What a local delegate or whatever.
See, and I have no issue being involved in something like that, but I don't. The nice thing about libertarianism is libertarians spend most of their time arguing about not being libertarian enough.
Yep, which is why I'm just sort of considering like becoming more involved with the party so we can actually talk about policy rather than because I mean, the worst thing the thing that drives me nuts and I know I think I have at least one listener like this who's a friend of mine, but still, God, it drives me nuts when you hear this. They're a libertarian, but then they don't vote because it doesn't matter. Well, it's like, well, then why are you so involved with politics to understand libertarian philosophy and not even give enough shit to vote? Like, we need you to vote, for Christ's sakes. You feel this way and you're not even willing to vote? That drives me absolutely insane.
See, I believe in my right to vote so much that back in 2006, I don't know, maybe 2000. Anyway, I voted during the election season when I was on felony probation, which you're not allowed to do. I actually had to go to court because when they did their whole thing at the end of the election and whatnot, where they checked their voter rolls. Because I signed in.
Yep.
And, oh, wait, he's a restricted voter. And so I had to go to court for it. I was facing voters fraud, 10 years in prison, $10,000 fine.
Oh.
It would have been my fifth felony.
Oh, my God.
I went to court. I got a plea agreement for if I pled guilty, I would get a stay of adjudication. So after 1 year, it went off my record. But so I went to court, and the judge questioned me. They're like, so did you vote on? I'm like, yes, I did. Did you know you weren't supposed to vote? Yes, I did. Well, why did you vote? And I go, well, I told them, I'm like, I'm an American citizen. Voting is a right. And as far as I'm concerned, rights cannot be restricted, limited, taken under any circumstance. Therefore, I'm going to vote. And the judge told me flat out, you know what? I can respect that. They had to prosecute me, but he could respect my point of view. And even the prosecutor respected it. I think that's why they gave me it was a completely victimless crime. I voted because I was exercising my right as a citizen.
You're basically voting out of protest, out of the fact that the government's telling you shouldn't vote because you've been convicted of crimes.
Exactly.
And they respected this belief of yours so much that they gave you a really wow. That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I find it very disturbing that. So can you vote? Not at the federal level, or?
Oh no, in Minnesota, you only lose your right to vote while you're currently on felony probation. Once you're off probation, all your rights get reinstated. Unless, of course, it's a violent crime, then you can't have a gun.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
but
so you still get the right to vote.
There are some states that you get rid of a felony,
you never get the right to vote again.
And that's
I don't
bullshit.
agree with that. See, and I think you should even have the right to vote in jail. Even if you've been convicted of a crime and you are in jail, I think you should still be able to vote. There's so many millions of people who are affected by a legal system, or even dare we say an injustice system, that have no recourse. There
True.
they are in prison, perhaps unjustly. A lot of times unjustly, I think. Because a lot of these things that.
It shouldn't be a crime.
Exactly. Yeah, let's step outside of people planting evidence, et cetera, et cetera. Like all of that set aside, so many things that are fucking crimes just probably shouldn't be, or at best, should be minor infractions, and nothing that people get prison time for.
No.
So yeah, and again, it's one of these things where it's like you can't change the system when the system is so rigged against the people who want to change it. I mean,
it's a serious uphill battle. I mean, and unfortunately,
I still believe in revolution by ballot box. I really do, but I really believe that revolution through ballot box is exclusively through third parties. Trump proved that an outsider can come into a party, and he's not even a conservative, really. You know, he's barely a Republican, only in name.
He's an egomaniac narcissist.
Absolutely, yeah. He ran for president to increase his brand, you know. And of course, that's my opinion.
I don't disagree with it.
But you know, I think if we can, I think if we can seize upon the model that he showed us possible, that name recognition makes election possible, you know, then third parties have a better chance, you know, like Jesus Christ, Kurt Russell, the creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, Kurt Russell, all these people are libertarians, like registered libertarians, you know. Why the fuck aren't they running for office? Why isn't the Libertarian Party reaching out to these people? Drew Carey. Why aren't we reaching out to these people?
Well, Drew's got a pretty sweet deal on the prices right.
Oh, yeah, he does. But, you know, like, Jesus, you know, like, you know, Ralph Nader was the biggest name the Green Party ever saw. You know what I mean? I mean, Jesse Ventura, how did he win as governor of Minnesota as in the third party when he was polling in 10%?
Because people didn't realize how oddly strange he was at that point. He couldn't win now.
He couldn't win now. But he won because people underestimated him and people were so fucking tired of the two
status
parters.
quo.
And so it was somebody that they knew that they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll vote for that guy. You know, like it wasn't even a deep dive into what his policies really were. It was just, you know what, fuck
let's
yeah.
throw a wrench in the system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what, I'm willing to vote for fucking Jesse the Body Ventura because I'm tired of fucking watching this mudslinging contest.
I think a lot of that happened with Trump. I mean, yes,
exactly. He did the same thing, but within the party system.
He has his core support group that no matter what, they're going to be on his dick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But overall, I mean, all the independents and whatnot that he got as far as those voters, I think a lot of it was the mentality of, screw it, let's see what happens. And I don't know, this next election might be kind of interesting. I mean, with everything going on, I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up in the morning and Mickey Mouse had more votes than both of those two combined.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could. I think Trump's going to win it again.
Oh, yeah.
I do, just because Biden is such an idiot, and even the Democrats and progressives can't necessarily get behind him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and you know, Trump's fans are going to get behind him no matter what.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely no issue there that they're not even party loyalists. They're Trump loyalists.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 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 I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And I'm okay with it because I don't really care these last 3 years.
It's not gonna make it.
Comical wise, it's been wonderful.
And it's so hard, like, you know, to be honest, if Biden wins, which I think is a rarity, you know, would be an extreme case. I highly doubt that would happen. You know, it would really fall on who's his VP, because he's going to die in office. Let's not joke around. Well, you know, and if he's not going to die in office,
he might wind up in a nursing home or mental care facility.
He's not. Yeah, exactly. His wife and the VP is going to be running the show, you know, because just be honest, he's not there. Like,
I don't think he is.
I don't. Yeah, it's a hard case to make that he really is there. You know, it's almost awkwardly obvious dementia. You know, like if he doesn't have a prompter, he's gone. You know. Anyways, I don't want to just sit and rag on Biden. That's not the point of this. My point is that if you're voting for Biden, you really are just
voting against Trump.
Voting against Trump because it's really going to be his VP. It is. You know, whoever his VP is going to be running the show, even if he survives for 8 years somehow and wins 2 elections.
See, and I
He's
wouldn't be
not-
okay with like a Tulsi Gabbard or, you know.
Oh shit! He would never
no.
pick a Tulsi Gabbard. I would love to see Tulsi. See, I would vote for Tulsi Gabbard in this election. If Tulsi Gabbard had won the Democratic nomination, I would be supporting her.
I
right
didn't agree
now.
with all of her policies necessarily, but I agreed with where she was coming at from.
Nobody have I ever agreed with all of their policies. Like I said, I'm thinking of becoming a Libertarian Party member, and I do not agree with all of the party.
Oh no!
You know, all of the platform. Like, holy crap, that is ridiculous.
I am kind of bummed that Andrew Yang got knocked out as early as he did. He was interested, and he brought a young, very engaging, very humanistic, hey, I'm really no different than you vibe with his campaign and the grassroots effort. And I think he kind of steered some of the older people in a direction that they otherwise wouldn't have gone because they realized the appeal of some of the things that he was saying.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Yang was definitely engaging. You know, interesting that we're basically seeing UBI right now. You know, just sort of like
as a pet project.
It was insane that seemed like it was going to be like such an uphill battle for him, and it was all we really needed to do was say like, oh, people are going to die. We need to shut down the economy and give everybody money. Like, yeah, that's mind blowing. You know, I don't know. You know, I think. Again, he was, you know, interesting, but he was basically an independent running as on the Democratic ticket, you know, but not really towing their line, so he couldn't get the funding.
No,
you know, again, I think
as long as he stood in there as he did with what he was doing, amazed me, and I give massive props to. It was
absolutely, but he's sort of the same evidence that you're seeing. That you saw with Bernie, and that is if you aren't towing enough of the party line,
you're not going to get any support.
You're not
going to
get any support from the party.
No.
Yeah, you know they're not gonna play that game and get trumped. You know, literally, like how ironic that you know, because that's what happened. He trumped the Republican nomination.
He did.
Yeah. He won it over. He was able to use populism to win the nomination, which you're not capable of doing within the Democratic Party because of like superdelegates and stuff. And it's like, well, you know, it can be like you can win, you know, like 60%, and the superdelegates like, no, I'm not going to vote for. You know, Bernie's not going to get mine, even though 60% of the people in my district want Bernie. I want this person, so I'm going for them.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you know, so, yeah, you know, their own fuckery within their parties makes this interesting, interesting dichotomy, I guess, or paradox where, I don't know what the hell
is it sad that, I mean, I remember being a teenager and having that viewpoint of why are we electing people that are so damn old, you know? And now I'm getting up there in age myself. You know, I'm 43, and I still have that same mentality of why are we electing people that are so damn old and just so stuck in their ways?
Great question. Young people don't run for office mostly, I think. The young people that do run for office tend to toe the same party values that the old people do.
Or they're a little too extreme at some point.
Or they're a bit extreme. I would assume you're talking about like AOC.
Yeah.
Or Rashid. No, I can't say her name. Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib. Yeah.
Yeah, but they garnered that support in their own individual districts. But God, did they? I'm not gonna lie. When they got elected and watching them butt heads with Nancy Pelosi I kind of enjoyed that too.
Yeah. Again, I think
It was like the grandma trying to tell the granddaughters not to do something. The granddaughter's like, "Whatever, grandma."
right. Yeah, it's interesting. I find AOC particularly interesting. I'm absolutely amazed that you can get a degree in economics from a prestigious college and not seem to have any understand of economics whatsoever. That's very interesting. Yeah, and our own Ilhan Omar here from Minnesota, well, actually, immigrant Somalian,
yes. I believe, yeah. I'm like 99% positive.
Has notably said and tweeted some very anti-Semitic things, and yet was elected in the most heavily Jewish district in Minnesota. Very interesting. Like, man, talk about voting against your self-interests. I don't know how, and someone who appears to be anti-Semitic is somehow representing basically the Jewish community of Minnesota. That's
She got it. Yeah, but I think
because it's also the Somali population.
Exactly.
For the most part. Yeah.
and I think they outnumber them.
Larger population probably of Somalis than Jewish people in District 5. Yeah.
But it's only bad if Orange Man says it.
I guess. I mean, I don't. I guess.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not. And people, please understand. I'm not justifying what Orange Man says is good.
No. To clarify, I don't like any of those politicians.
No, we're
Trump,
we're
AOC.
making light of and it's comical to find people's. It's easy how people are. It's funny how people are so easily able to turn a blind eye or mute out something that their own party says that they oppose someone from the other party saying because well wait, let me rationalize and justify why it's okay for my person but not your person.
Yeah. And you'd said earlier, how libertarians are always busy arguing over who's libertarian enough.
Yeah.
But in that sense that we're eating our own in that way, at least we're not like we're not. You don't see.
There's no complicity of allowing it and justifying it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. Rather than like just saying, "Oh, well, because they're libertarian, they can do that," or this is, like there's none of that justification in the libertarian community. There's literally the arguing of, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," or "I can do this," Yeah, rather than this argument of "it's okay for me." It's an argument of are you following libertarian philosophy or not?
I get into discussions because I seriously disagree with the non-aggression pact. I understand and believe and support the premise of it, but implementation, there's just times when I believe that it's fully justified to punch someone in the throat even before they get froggy because they're going to need it. And I'm not opposed to that. So I stand and I agree with it 97% of the time, but I accept that. You know what? There's going to be those times when...
But you're talking specifically about literal physical confrontation between two individuals.
No, I'm not even saying that I sometimes think that it would be okay to strategically nuke a city if we needed to before they get too froggy.
Or burn a precinct?
Yes. But however, though, the burning of the precinct was in retaliation and a reaction to...
Yeah, is that... Yeah, I mean, is that is... I don't know. Is lashing out against state property a violation of the non-aggression principle? That's an interesting debate there.
I don't know, though. Technically, if it's state property, it's our property. Therefore, we're destroying our own property. And you're allowed to destroy your own property. It's yours.
But it's other people's as well.
True. Well, then they can be upset about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, man, that's an interesting libertarian debate right there.
Because, I'm a firm believer in... Like the state capitol is ours. It's the people's house. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if I want to walk in and go down and take the microphone from the president of the Minnesota State Senate and address my representatives at any given moment, guess what? I should be able to do it because A, this is my house, and B, you people work for me. I'm your boss. I'm calling a company meeting. But yet we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, but if you just allow that sort of thing and don't have proper procedure, then you have up to 5 million people who can just walk in there and do that on any
First
given
come,
day.
first serve. You get there's a 2-hour period once a week of X amount of people that can address and walk up and speak.
See, that's exactly what needs to happen. Is there needs to be at Congress too. Aside from the sort of sessions that already happen, is there needs to be a weekly session where, and it's not the sort of bullshit where they can fucking just opt out and not be there and schedule meetings.
No, you have to be here.
Yeah, they were you have to be there every week to fucking listen to fucking people come in and fucking bitch about whatever it is that they want to bitch about. It's
and not
scheduled time.
It should almost be like a county board meeting where here's a lot of time open to the mic to whatever business you want to discuss.
Here's another thing that would help really change government is if we had those and you had to attend those, and if you missed a certain amount of those, or you missed a certain amount of votes, or
You're
a combination
ineligible for re-election.
Not only are you ineligible for re-election, like if you're not hitting like 70% of the votes and 70% of these public meetings, like you lose your office, like you're gone, like you just lose your office and they have a new election, like just gone. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not there representing the people, then what are you doing? You're collecting a salary.
Actually, why
what I mean?
not? I mean,
if you
miss too many days at work, you'll lose your job.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If people are scheduled, basically 5 days a week. Most people are scheduled 5 days a week. So 70%. If you call in 3 days every 2 weeks, how long are you going to have a job? Not very long.
Maybe 2 months.
A couple of months,
Depends on how bad they need you.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, if every 2 weeks, out of every 10 days of work, you call in or don't show up for 3 of them, you're not going to have a job very long. And I don't understand why that wouldn't apply to politicians too. If you're not hitting 70% of your votes, if you're not at 70% of mandatory, yeah, exactly, whatever, hearings and they've got, and I don't know, they're fucking busy people. They've got different caucuses they need to meet with, and I get that, but
But even some of that needs to change. It shouldn't be about, here's us group working with da 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 da.
Yeah, and
you work for us.
That creates this weird power structure too, where you get on these committees and you start in these fucking low level committees, and then you work way up to more powerful committees. There's this whole fucking power structure. If you got to fucking, that's like I said.
Play
that's why
by
I say,
our game,
exactly,
and you will
that's
get
why
rewarded.
That's why Josh Heinzman won't fucking. There's some reason that he's been enough his fucking 2 or 3 terms.
I think this is his third term.
He's low on the totem pole. He needs to fucking vote no against legal cannabis because that's the way Republicans want him to fucking vote on it. And so that's why he doesn't have any good fucking talking points on it. So it's an issue that we, the people, are fucking pressing against him. He has a predetermined vote that he needs to toe the party line and vote no on this. And fucking, he just doesn't have fucking any great information to fucking.
You see, and ultimately, Heitzman's vote really doesn't matter.
That's my theory.
No, and I don't think that's.
Because I know how the power structure works.
I don't think that's crazy far off.
No, that's how the power structure works.
No,
he needs to vote the way they want.
Look at the federal level right now. It's you have Nancy Pelosi and them yelling at Ilham and all of them, going, "You need to vote the way that we're telling you to vote."
Exactly.
Otherwise,
same thing. Yep. Exactly. Same thing. Same damn thing playing out on the federal level. Exactly.
With Ilhan and them, they were lucky enough to have enough publicity nationally that they were able to push back a little bit because
But no, I mean, now how often do you hear about them? They need to keep themselves relevant and in the news.
Now you just hear about enough to keep their name there, but they're not.
They're trying, but there's so much other shit going on. There's nothing these nincompoops, pardon me if you like them, but these fucking idiots in Congress, they need to fucking tweet something out to try to stay relevant once in a while. And there's realistically, when there's fucking riots happening and people like Governor Walz and Fries are falling on their fucking faces, and these riots are spreading nation and world fucking wide, nobody gives a shit about what fucking they have to say. You can't tweet anything smart enough or slap back or clap back fucking hard enough to fucking be relevant when cities are burning. And that's the reality. These people are just ineffective, young, fresh congressmen who ultimately have no power, and they're not going to change shit except opinions. Craig's rant of the day.
Yeah. Oh, I don't disagree with it at all. That's why we need term limits. We really do. And I'm thinking something. I don't think that you should be able to, although it's commendable if you want to represent your district and just as like a representative for, say, 20 years, I still fear anyone being in one particular office in government that long. But yet I have no issue but doing like a combination of total amount of years total by whatever combination of, let's say, let's call it 20 years, and let's go 4 years for representatives per term and 6 years as a senator. Okay, so that means you could only run 3 total terms as a representative and 2 as a senator, and that would give you your 20 years. But now if you run 3 years as a senator, well, guess what? You might not be at 20 years, but you don't get to run as a senator again. And guess what? Now you don't get to be a representative either.
Yeah.
I think term limits along with a max amount, with a quote-unquote forced age of retirement, or forced years of service, I think needs to happen. Otherwise, you get people like Pelosi that are just representing their district, but they've done it consistently for so long that they get into those positions of power.
Yeah.
And have their little kickbacks. And
yeah.
You always get some form of a fresh face in there to not have the established higher-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I also think we kind of need to. I think the president sort of needs to become the figurehead that he was meant to be, where he just sort of, is more of like a prime minister and like is a smiling face and like the opposite of what Trump is. you know, like a friendly person who goes around representing, the best interests of the United States.
You present your agenda, ideas of things that you want to see,
tweeting nice things, being eloquent, speaking well. All the things that Trump is the antithesis of is what I think a president should be, and have virtually no power. Like, he signs the legislation more just symbolically. It's been passed, I really don't think the president in and of themselves should have much power.
No.
I think... And I know this sounds strange probably for a libertarian to say, but I think we actually need this sort of level of government right above Congress, sort of like the Supreme Court of like 7, 9, an odd number of people who are well experienced government officials. And again, we have to like clean up all of the dirty money in politics and everything to really make this, But I think that the sort of like a wise council should sort of oversee rather than having all of these little committees off in their own little corners, and then coming together as Congress as a whole, and voting on bills. I think there should be sort of this layer of several people that sort of take on what the president has become and sort of guiding policy right? So these groups are
But,
sort of the
that's also
committee
growing
leaders.
government.
Well, I know. Like I said, it is sort of. It's
an
weird to
odd
say.
contradiction.
It is. I know. Like I said, But here's the thing: is I actually want government to be far less funded, and for there to be way less. Like, because I mean, I would also. I mean, I would get rid of the ATF. I would get rid of the CIA.
The
I would get rid of the
DEA.
DAA. I would get rid of the the Department of Education. You know, like I would get rid of so much government and replace it with 7 to 9 people who have served an elected position for at least 10 years, right? So they're elected by us, the people, not from within Congress. So it's not like the majority whip and stuff, right? But you serve 10, you've been in government at least 10 years, and you're available to be on this like wise 7, right? And they basically sort of oversee these committees and everything instead of the whip and they have a much more broader oversight. You know what I mean? More of like a CEO, a CFO, a board of directors is going to oversee all these other branches within the company and what they're doing. Somebody's responsible for shipping, somebody's responsible for manufacturing, and somebody is responsible for making sure that person is responsible. You know what I mean?
You know what's interesting? This type of a structure that you're describing, it almost reminds me, as far as on the government aspect, depending upon how you want to look at it, it reminds me of Native American, indigenous peoples, tribe politics and whatnot back in the day. That yes, they had their chief, but they had their council of elders.
Yeah.
And then I mean, and
that's more of what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So, like I say, instead of sort of, the 400 plus members of Congress in committees doing their own thing, 100 members of Senate, and they're doing their own thing. And then one guy, the president, sort of pushing his agenda, whatever that is, or just sitting back lame duck style, whatever, but it's just like, to me, it's like a think tank without a board of directors. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, to me, there's not enough structure. There needs to be another layer. There's no upper management. There's a owner, or a CEO, the president, and then there's like a whole bunch of franchises. And there's no board of directors, and there's, like, it's a little too chaotic to me. I think there needs to be these people who understand how Congress and Senate works, who aren't Congress or Senate but oversee Congress and Senate, and make sure that they're following the rules and they're working for their district, and they're not fucking corrupt, and they're not taking, you know what I mean? Yeah. This, yep.
But even beyond people who have experience, I think there needs to be a civilian aspect if you're going to do that. Only because no matter how good a person's intentions are, I still think they get tainted and whatnot with their...
Oh, yeah.
That's...
absolute, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is these people, they don't necessarily have influence over the policy or the direction. They just oversee them, make sure they're not corrupt, make sure that they're doing things correctly. That's what I was saying. They're not, again, they're not leaders. They're just overseeing. They're just making sure things are going well and in the right direction, right? So, before fucking pipes collapse in Flint, Michigan, you know what I mean? There's people overseeing it. You know what I mean? There's people going, hey, there's a problem in this district that you guys aren't dealing with or aren't dealing with well, and we need you to focus on that.
Streamline shit instead of having so much red tape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, a board of directors, people to oversee what's going on, make sure that they're moving in the right direction, that problems are being addressed, and just sort of like I literally think that part of the waste of government is the chaoticness of government. That there's the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Everybody's sort of on their own. We have all these alphabet soup,
They know what they're doing. They're both picking the other pocket of their neighbor.
Well, I mean, they know that they're getting funding, and they know they want more. But, like, there's just, like, man, sometimes I think government services are working contradictory to each other. And there's just, like I said, there's so much government and not enough oversight of government.
Well, of course,
and then it gets chaotic.
Of course, they have to work against each other at times. I mean, if they work together, that only gives them one group of people to pickpocket. If they work against each other, they get to pickpocket everyone.
I mean, it's literally like it literally feels like a lot of government is digging a hole on Monday and filling it on Tuesday. It feels like there's entirely too much of that going on. And it feels like there should just be somebody that, just fucking shows up and goes, okay, what are you guys doing today? We're digging a hole. And then, okay, what are you guys doing tomorrow? Well, we're filling the hole back in. And then that person goes, wait. No, you're not doing that. Like that. Yeah, there needs to be just, that council of 7, those board of directors that just stop those things from happening. Yeah. But you want to take another break? We're almost at an hour here.
Actually,
you probably need to get going, I bet, huh?
I do, actually.
It is getting late.
I got to head out in the woods and hit my check out my trail cams. I haven't done that in like 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. I want to go kayaking or something. It's kind of windy today, though.
That's just it. I was going to get the boat out this afternoon after I got it back from the repair shop. But it's just a little boat, and it's windy, so I really don't want to deal with waves.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I get pushed around in that little kayak a lot. We just bought it like probably less than a month ago. But, man, I'm getting out paddling every chance I can. It's a good time.
I want one, but God damn it, if I do that, then I'm going to have one more thing that I'm going to want to do, and that's going to limit even the time that I have for everything that I already want to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get the little fishing mount on mine for sure. Or I'll probably just get a bigger one next year or something. Like, I got a nice little cheap kayak for under $200, like on sale. Like,
well, I was looking at it. It looks like you could hook it up. My only problem with putting something like that on myself is I'm worried that I'm going to not do it properly and like not get it sealed correctly or something, and some weird shit will happen. You know. As opposed to just having it come that way from the store, then if anything's wrong, be like, dude, replace this. Get that warranty, man.
Right? Get the warranty. That's solid advice. And I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining me so much. Thanks for tuning into the Electric Church Podcast. We will see you again. Well, we probably won't see you at all. It's audio.